everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back if this is your fourth Heels episode review. Hope you're all doing well on your Labor Day weekend. Hope you're enjoying the rest of it. I'm about to head over for another week of my new job, which I love ever so much, and I can't wait. But for all you all enjoying your Labor Day weekend, hope it was awesome. Hope you got to celebrate it with your family, with your friends, whatever you do. I managed to spend one of these days with my friends, which I enjoy. But however, we're going to dial it back to family, as this week on Heels. Continuing the pattern of we get an episode focusing more on the inside the ring, and then an episode outside the ring. We continue that trend this week as we're outside the ring, as we're dealing with the ramification of Wild Bill's video, and we get more context of it, seeing how his return to Duffy kind of shakes things up a little bit for everyone else, as well as some new character developments, and of course, obviously, with every TV show, misunderstandings can easily get in the way of, creating new problems, creating all these sort of new scenarios. And I think by far this is probably yet another solid episode of Heels. So far they've just been killing it. Not a bummer episode in sight yet. We're already at the halfway mark. So far, strong season, very strong. It's one of the strongest seasons I've seen in a very long time. So I'm giving them credit where credit is due. But I really want to talk about the scene that really scarred me, because this scarred me for life. There was like the intro scene definitely was not expecting that. I thought they're not gonna go that far, and they did. And I'm like, I'm really hoping to God that's a prosthetic and not the real. You know what? Let's go for the butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Heels. Where, for context, we head back a little bit, a couple days before the events of episode 3's climax, before the big Sunday matchup. We see Wild Bill at his agency, or the company, the corporation he's signed on to, signing off on a new championship belt toy, which is more modern, more tech, more sleek, more basic. I'll give it Wild Bill this. I don't always agree with him, but I will say this toy looked like a piece of crap. This was like a cheap product that probably was going to cost them $5 to make, and probably was going to charge people $45 to sell, which is normally how most toy companies sell their toys nowadays. But besides the thing, Wild Bill, knowing at his current stage of life, being kind of retired from the ring. Well, I don't think he's retired per se, but he's not the champ anymore. Financially wise, he has to stay good with his corporate leaders, so he decides to sign off on the belt and giving them his endorsement that, hey, it's good. It's a good product. But Wild Bill being Wild Bill, later on towards the end of the day, he's heading off to Milwaukee or somewhere, another state. And while he's on there, he, of course, does the whole, please do not mix your unprescribed medication with a bunch of alcohol, which he clearly does. And he goes way off the deep end to when he goes into the airport the airplane's bathroom, the lavatory. He comes out in his wrestling clothes, sands his pants. Now, about to say, I initially thought like this is the furthest they're gonna go with Wild Bill. We ain't seeing any more damn the freaking furry butt from a couple weeks ago. I hope to God we weren't gonna see any more. But no, we got it worse. We saw his I can't even say his hairy dick. My eyes are just scarred when I saw this. He's like, they just went there. They heard my reasoning from 2 weeks ago, and they decided to say fuck you. You're getting some Wang tonight, and I'm just thinking to myself, oh man, that is just so blindsiding to me. It really is. So regardless of that, yeah, and then obviously we know that the video got out, everyone saw about it, and obviously the company's not happy with this. This is a negative PR move. This is definitely gonna hurt the branding, which now, of course, like customary, like we're like, give us some time, let us try and flip this over, let's see if we can try to like sweep this under the rug. Of course, obviously this was gonna be a long climb for them to do. So he's basically having to send himself to Duffy, because he has nowhere else to go. So he decides to shack up with Willie's and her family, which I'm honestly surprised. Like, Willie's house was like, there's absolutely no way Jack's paycheck to her is going to cover this house. But no, yeah, she's married. She has a kid. So Willie's staying over with them for a bit. He's basically really just slumming it up with them, eating their pancakes, talking smack, teaching their daughter like the very wrong thing. I originally got scared for a moment because I initially thought she was legal age and like similar to small towns, she's just staying back to like help out with the economy. I thought for a second, oh no, please don't tell me we're gonna see where he's basically doing it. But no, she's still underage. So I'm like, thank God, they won't go that far. Thankfully, there's a limit with this show. Thankfully. Meanwhile, onto Jack's side of things, he's of course getting some marketing things done for the DWL, but he hears the fire alarm going on. He heads into his son's room and he finds it in flames, about to go up. He saves his son. He manages to take it out with the fire with a fire extinguisher, and it turns out, yeah, the squirrels from episode 2 kind of did some stuff with the wiring. So basically, they caused a short fuse, and now I'm very scared because here's the thing: if you remember episode 2, I mentioned I had squirrels. I gotta get my wires checked now, but that costs a lot of money. But I'll figure that out later. My own personal, I'll figure that out later. Jack suggests they go to a hotel for a couple nights, just until they can get the house rewired and everything's good to go on it. But his Crystal, no, not Crystal. His wife stops him and says, "Look, we ain't got the money for both rewiring and a hotel right now. There's only so much insurance will cover for, so we're gonna have to sleep with your grandma for a couple days because we don't got the money." And Jack's being a little bit more optimistic, like, look, we're going to get a big influx of cash coming in for the DWL. We're having a new investor kind of put even more money on us. But, of course, obviously, this is Jack's luck. I highly doubt this is going to go through. And doesn't. He and Willie are meeting up with the pawn shop dude and now the car salesman guy from last episode. They're meeting with him. They have a pretty impressive meeting on what the plan is to do a whole new marketing push, which is digitizing the older DWL footage from back when Jack and Ace were kids, putting them on YouTube, getting some views on them, getting some more promotion, getting some more traction, that sort of thing. I will admit to this. It was a very impressive slideshow. Like, if it was for any other corporation, I would invest my money into there. But for the DWL, the guy decides not to go with it because the pawn shop was different because his pawn shop needed a local support. His car dealership needs to attract people from outside of Duffy, outside into the larger Georgia area. And sadly, the DWL doesn't have that push right now to give them that sort of audience to get the money back. So he declines, leaving, once again, Jack kind of shorthanded that once again. He didn't get what he wants, and now he's just figuring out what the next step is. They just have to keep pushing the course. They need to find some sort of way to build up traction so that they can all prove to them, no, you're wrong, we could do this. There's also a brief exchange between Jack and Willie about Willie's history with Big Bill. Turns out they used to be lovers back when they were in their 20s, and literally her reasoning is like literally the biggest is the most straightforward answer you would ever get from a woman about why she's checking out with a man. The sex is good, the fuck is good, like so. And I was young. I was like looking for that consistent. Okay, we're not gonna go any further deeper on this. Meanwhile, back at the DWL, they don't really do much this week. They're kind of just like, waiting for Jack's orders. They're just morally there for comedic support. Crystal's there to give Bobby a haircut, and Bobby's a very nice dude. He's definitely the novice of the group. Like he is the least experienced. He doesn't really know much what's going on, but he's still a nice dude, and he's treating Crystal with respect while everyone else is kind of like, okay, we respect her, but we're kind of joking around here, that sort of thing, which is fair for them. Well, before Crystal's able to give a haircut to another person, Bobby asks her to head over for her to head over to his trailer so that he can ask her for something. Everyone just starts like, "Ooh, you gonna fuck him? You're gonna have sex?" Jesus Christ, I've been saying "fuck" a lot in this review series. I apologize. This is not normally my language, but I'm like, you know what? If we got to see Wild Bill's ass and cock on the screen, I'm like, why not? Why not go a little vulgar with this review series? Why not? Let's go with it. So later on, Crystal shows up, and thankfully, Bobby, being a nice dude, is not pulling a move on her. All he wants to do is just ask her for her help, because now that Bobby's kind of being pushed up a little bit more into becoming Ace's new rival, he needs some flavor. He needs some personality with his character. He needs some more pizzazz to it. That's not just basic old Bobby. So Crystal decides to give him a helping hand, create a new character for him that's still in the vein of what he's doing before, creating new theme music, some stuff like that. Just really like a really collaborative nature that she's honestly not really getting with Ace. Ace is kind of like just self-centered of like figuring out like, this is what I'm going to do to progress my career and to get to that level out of Duffy. And he's not really paying attention much to Crystal, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm pretty sure last week in the moment he just didn't really want to accept it, and now he's cooled down a little bit. We'll catch up on him a little bit later. Bobby and Crystal has like that very like sweet spot of any sort of connection. Like there definitely could be something romantic there, but at the same time, there's also something along the lines of, hey, there's still a friendship here. There's a commonality here. There's like two souls, like they just meld well to each other. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it does definitely work on their benefit of like they feel comfortable around each other a little bit. So I'll give them credit. I'll give them points there. Meanwhile, for Ace, he's just drinking it up. He's trying to kill some time before his family dinner that night. While Bill's there, the bartender is also trying to give Ace some hints like I'm off in an hour. If you stay around, we could flirt a little bit. We could do that. But while Bill comes in, kind of ruins the plans. Kissing off Ace a little bit. Apologizing for like, hey, look, man, when I mean that whole stuff a couple weeks ago, I didn't really mean it like that. I just meant like things change, plans change, so don't worry about it. They goof off a bit, they play pool. Wild Bill's a very unpredictable beast. At one moment, he's just a casual pool partner, and the next second, he literally is threatening two electrical workers over because he lost a game of pool. Which I'm like, damn, I do not want to see this guy on a good day. I really don't. Well, actually, no, that was his good day. I'm very scared to see what he's going to do on his bad day. That's what I'm scared of. I believe there's a little bit of a scene because like we're also progressing with I swear to God, I remember her name last week, but I'm forgetting. Jack's wife. Yeah, I can't remember, but Jack's wife and his mom are just having a little conversation about just how things are being DWL wives. Was this? She's asking Jack's mom like, was this her decision? Was she always happy with this? Did she ever regret not doing anything else? And the mom, I'm like, look, I loved my husband. I supported my husband. I am aware, I didn't get to do much things in life, but I had two amazing kids, and being a mom is a full-time job. So honestly, I have no regrets. But of course, obviously, for Jack's wife, she is starting to feel with regrets since she's just missing so much of her life, staying in Duffy, being tied down by this league that isn't kicking off anything anytime soon, that sort of thing. And also, Jesus Christ, the supermarket is very freaking small because I literally saw the beginning and end, like literally just like that. Was there anything else I forgot to mention? And the only thing that happened in this day was the dinner happened. Everything was seemingly going fine, no problems there. Problem number one came around that when Jack's son was doing the gracing of the table, he mentions his grandfather, Jack Spade for not Jack Spade, Tom Spade for going to heaven. Grandma Spade points out like, no, he's not in heaven, he's in hell. When you commit suicide, you don't go to heaven, you go straight to hell. And definitely traumatizing him. Everyone's just trying to stop her, like, hey, don't tell this to a little kid. He doesn't know this stuff yet. You don't have to traumatize him. But she's not paying attention. She just keeps repeating, like, he's in hell, he's in hell, he's in hell. But eventually, everyone just decides to get up and leave the room, not wanting to talk any further. Later that night, Ace and Jackson have a little bit of a talk about just how things are, about the whole, the whole concept of like, how do you get into heaven? How do you get to hell? And that sort of thing. And of course, obviously, Ace is still a bit of a youngster himself, but he's kind of mature enough to know what sort of thing to say to a little kid like that. Even gifting him with like a new blanket just to like, make him a little bit happy. Downstairs, Jack and Ace have a little bit of a stressful thing, a little bit more of a tension over it. It's not their worst episode where like they're really fighting each other. No, they're just thinking two separate ways, and they're just thinking two separate mindsets. But I think at the end, like, they both mutually agree, like, we got to really think about what's best for the DWL if we want to build this up any further and, actually grow this brand a little bit further. And one of their ideas is to cut a promo. And I swear to God, freaking Stephen Amell's Jack Spade literally called out The Rock. The Rock's not even in wrestling anymore. He's an actor now, future president, hopefully. I don't think he's going to come to Duffy just to do a little thing because, of course, it will blow up everything, but there's absolutely no way he's going to do it. Absolutely no way. But speaking of that, just moving alongside, during the next day, Bobby comes over, Crystal's trailer, not that way, to test out his new wrestling suit. He's praising Crystal, of course, for her design input, for her help so far. He wants to give her the credit where credit is due. Crystal's just like, no, it's fine. I'm just going to stay low to the ground right now. Just kind of keep a distance, just keep a small profile. Bobby, being the upstanding, nice citizen he is, tells her no. You did most of the work. You deserve the credit. And if anyone else has a problem with it, I'll just quit. That simple as that. You deserved your credit where credit is due. And then he demoing the suit out. Crystal it becomes honest with, it's like, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't play a character. If you're gonna be the face from now on, you need to be good, and that's who you are. So you'll be fine if you just be just Tom. No, not Tom. Just be Bobby Pin. And he's like, okay, yeah, sure, that's right. But I'm still figuring out who is Bobby Pin, and well, she's giving him some ideas. Definitely something to work with later down, when we get back into the ring, hopefully next week. Where do I remember we go from there? I believe, yeah, Bobby's, yeah, I know at some point, yeah, not Bobby, Bill is calling up his direct manager and the company president about like the status of like what's going on, where am I going next, is everything resolved? Basically, the damage is really too much for them to take on, so they decide to drop Bobby. What do I keep saying? Bill, from the label. He decided to drop Bill. So Bill's basically broke. He has no job. He has no income coming in. So he's basically stuffing Duffy for now. So I want to say where... Like, there's so much that goes on. I'm trying to remember where the next... I think the next point is... yeah, they decided to actually cut a promo for DWL's matchup, which honestly was very eventful. This is the one thing I love about the show, is that I know nothing about wrestling or the world of wrestling, and I'm slowly getting these different aspects of it. Obviously, this is a more independent level thing, and it's not the best quality, but I'll give them the originality that they actually had a transitional fight scene for a car wash. I'll give them credit there. I really will, and they're all happy. They're all like, we're making progress. This is something we're proud of. That's hopefully something that people will actually click on and getting some views and getting some more attention. Even Jack's like just happy, like, we're doing something productive, and this could be part of something more. And they decide to do multiple versions just because they have all this creative idea going, and this is just great for them, and for their connection and for their relationship. That later that night, Ace, apologizes to Crystal about his recent behavior, and this night, why don't we go out? Let's get a bite to eat. Let's just celebrate that we made our first real promo together. But Crystal's like, I'm good. I got to work a shift here anyway. The fun time is over. It's time to actually work, because obviously, the DWO is not paying the bills for her, and that sort of thing. What else was yeah, I think do we just cut to the next day at this point? I want to say we do, because I'm not really thinking. Oh yeah, so the last thing is, for this day is that Bill is telling Willie the news that he got cut from the label, but he says like this was a mutual thing, I'll figure things out on my end, but he starts really insulting the DWL, insulting Jack, blaming him that like he's the reason why Tom's dead, and eventually this was just enough for Willie to like say, nope, enough's enough. She starts attacking him. She starts punching him. And yeah, by the next day, he's kicked out of the house. They don't want him anymore, which obviously is fair. Like, I want this guy to live in my house. I really wouldn't want to at all. Ace is heading over to Crystal's to kind of like just have like a fun day of, just eating and having sex and, that sort of thing. But he sees her and Bobby off in the distance on the trampoline. And obviously, once again, if he had just went up to them and talked to them, it's like, they're just friends. They're just having fun. It's just the comfort in them, but he does not pay attention, and he decides to key Bobby's car. On top of Bobby obviously wanting to keep the friendship going between him and Crystal, but Crystal's like, you know what, just for the sake of just the storyline, maybe it's better if we don't get seen in public anymore, because that's going to ruin Jack's storytelling, and it's also going to ruin the flow of things, so why don't we just, keep things private for now. But before they progress any further, that's when Bobby discovers the car key, and everyone they're just wondering like who could have done this. We obviously know who it was, but that's besides the point there. I believe Yeah, we knew it was Ace. We knew it was Ace. Ace is like drinking already. He's not really in his right mindset already. He just tells his mom that, like, look, I know you don't believe it, but I do believe Tom went to heaven, that he's fine there. Like, he just had a lot of things going on in his head, and sadly, it didn't culminate in the right decision he made. But that isn't grounds for like to push him push him towards like, oh, he went to hell because he just did that. It's like, you never really know, because like for us, we don't know if we're gonna go to heaven or heaven or hell, or if there even is an afterlife. We just don't know until after we get there. So we'll figure that out from there. But however, meanwhile, for Ace's, sort of like dealing with things, he decides to go just hook up with the bartender, the bartender from the bar he was at with Wild Bill earlier a couple days ago. Mainly just a fuck. He just wants to forget about Crystal. He just wants the attention of just putting his mind off something. But there's something there. She's just there for the sex, and he's looking for someone to actually talk to. So it kind of services both their needs for now. Back eventually, Jack's wife and his son are about to leave back home, but she lets Jack's mom know that, look, we haven't talked a lot in the last 9 years, since I married your son. I think it's better now more than ever that we really get to talk to each other and kind of figure out some stuff. And we got a little bit more so about Grandma I almost said Walker because I did the Walker stuff. Grandma Spade's life when she was, married and had the 2 kids. Like, there would be days where she was just so over dependent on Tom that she just kept forgetting about doing things on her own. And even now that he's been gone for almost a year, that really hasn't helped her out that much. And she still lets Ace do most of the things around because she's still not. She's been so used to being serviced that it's just not common for her anymore to be the one to be able to do things on her own and that sort of matter. She also then calls over Jack to let her know, like, look, I think now's the time. I want to focus on me. I want to, like, eventually go back to school. I want to get a job. I want to have a career of my own and that sort of thing. And for once, Jack's, like, actually listening. He's actually paying attention. But right now his focus is to get to the motel so he can tell Wild Bill to stay away from Ace. So when he gets there, Jack just sees firsthand how, like, rock bottom Bill got in. He's drinking. He can't even get an ice machine working. He's living out of a motel. And basically, Jack decides to walk away since this is punishment enough for Bill. Bill drinks even more beer, of course. Goes on the roof, starts yelling that, like, he's still got it. He's still got it. We'll see how he goes. And he literally wakes up the entire goddamn neighborhood to scream. And that's where we end this week's episode of Heels. So to kind of like recap a bit, yeah. So I was really not expecting to see big old Bill's dick in this episode, but we did. My mind is forever crossed. Can't forget that scene. I still think this is one of the best episodes of the season so far, despite it not being like too tensed up. Everyone's just kind of like figuring things out. Jack being a little bit more open to listening out to his family, and also Ace kind of like calming down a little bit. Not 100%. He still's got some mental things to work out, but he's getting there. It's like very small baby steps, just very tiny ones, to say the least. Overall, but this was a very fun episode. Just doing the promos, just kind of just seeing these characters banter off one another. Not really like any sort of like big looming issue on the horizon. Just more like we're just trying to live life day by day and that sort of thing. Bobby and Crystal being friends. Will that actually become romantic? Who knows? Who very much knows? I think Bobby's just way too naive to even understand the concept of being in a real relationship. So we'll see how that all goes and how that gets resolved eventually, because eventually they're going to have to sit down and talk like, hey, look, he's just my friend. We haven't done anything at all. I mean, the most we've done physically is just jump on a trampoline together. That's literally all we've done. I mean, come on, Ace. You're not that dumb to, like, not pay attention to it, to be honest with you. But, yeah, halfway mark in, I'm still loving the pace. I'm loving these characters and where they're going. And now that we're officially at the halfway mark, how are they going to end up? How are we going to deal with all the stuff? Because there is, like, literally no point. Like, the whole point, like, yeah, to get the DWL on the map, like, that's not going to happen in 4 episodes. It's impossible. So this is just following the story of these guys who are just trying to struggle and trying to figure out how to get this league to the next level. How do they get a little bit more mainstream? I'm just curious how this is all going to wrap up, considering the fact that there's just no real like tangible endpoint without just being a hard cut. But overall, for this one, being the halfway mark, being the halfway chapter, I can't wait to see what the second half entails. But this is still one of the most strongest episodes of Heels so far of the series, and I'm gonna give this episode 2 thumbs up. So I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's in the Tube from ActionX, reviewing every episode of Heels. If you want to know overall What's in the Tube besides our Heels episode reviews, we're currently doing DC Stargirl Season 2 episode reviews each and every Wednesday mornings after a brand new episode on Tuesday nights on the CW, or free the next day on the CW app. But again, if you're only a Heels fan, you're in luck. We'll be back next week, Monday, for another episode review for you to be enjoying today, so do not worry. Yeah, also just a bit of a heads up, this is like now we crossed the halfway mark, so I believe by the time 5, 6, 7, 8 come out, so I think we're in the final 4. The last episodes for the month, which will be the last episodes of this season, of course, will be a little bit delayed. It'll be pushed back a day because of our upcoming The Rookie Season 4 episode reviews, which are going to be starting up on September 27th. So because you got both Heels and Rookie on the same day, the priorities have shifted a little bit. So we will be doing Rookie first and then Heels later on, because nothing against Heels, I just love The Rookie more. So that'll be coming out first. That'll be a little bit of scheduling change towards the latter half as we wrap up the first season reviews, and then get to the usual closing remarks for a series review. So stay tuned for that. That's just a bit of a heads up. We won't see any changes on this front for at least a couple weeks. So just stay tuned for that. But again, if you're unaware, this has been What's in the Tube from ActionX. Please subscribe to ActionX on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Ring that bell for notification when our next Heels episode review is live, which is usually each and every Monday morning. Like, favorite, share of this review if you haven't yet, but it helps us get it out there to other healers in the world of wrestling. It helps us beat up that YouTube algorithm that hates me ever so much, and as well as sharing it for free here on the interwebs. Follow us on social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates for the channel. And until then, for all you healers out there, I'll see you all next week for the next episode review. But until then, stay safe out there, be good to each other, enjoy the rest of your Labor Day weekend, and of course, peace out.